Syria, where the American military veteran, a Christian, is fighting alongside the Kurds to defeat ISIS. Jordan Matson joins us from Syria. Jordan, why are you in Syria? Why are you fighting ISIS there?
Well, no major powers for the last almost 2 years said they would do it or send troops on the ground. So at a certain point of a certain amount of people getting genocided, the Yazidis and Christians, and Obama saying it was an Iraqi problem, I decided if my government wouldn't do anything about it, I would, ma'am, and I came over here.
All right. Now, what was your military experience? What did you do in the U.S. military?
I was airborne infantry, ma'am.
In terms of being in Syria, are there other American former veterans or former active duty fighting ISIS?
Quite a few, ma'am, around 40 to 50 that I know of, but I've been on the front, so I don't know everybody that comes over here, so there could be more.
What's it like?
It's a lot. It's not like a conventional deployment, so it's a shock for a lot of the guys. It's you're usually going from mud hut to mud hut. You don't have any of the essentials like sewage, electricity, or anything. You have a basket of bread and usually some vegetables, and you go out and fight at night because no one likes to fight during the day, and you get within usually 100 meters unless it's Deutschke fights to engage the enemy. So it's quite a bit different over here.
How armed are you?
We just have the basics, ma'am. Rocket propelled grenades, Dragunovs, Kalashnikovs, and BKCs or PKMs, light machine guns, a few Deutschkes here and there. We could really use a lot of help from the United States if they'd start arming Syrian Kurds.
What is the view among the Syrian Kurds towards the United States and towards the American policies towards that region?
They are extremely pro-Western. They've said nothing but good things about the United States. I mean, they've taken great care of me since I got here. They've been a very secular society. They treat Christians, Muslims, Yazidis as equals. No religion is imposed on each other. All the ethnic groups are treated the same. It's something they haven't had in this region that the YPG provides.
What does that flag behind you, the YPG, what does that mean?
Your Protection Group.
And what is that?
It's the basically the protection group for the Kurdish forces and anyone that lives under them in this region in what we call Rojava or northeastern Syria.
Jordan,
it's a militia force.
When did you leave the United States and go to Syria?
I flew out on September 20th, ma'am, and I flew into Turkey and was taken to Arbil, then Rojava.
And since you've been there, do you have any fears being there?
No, ma'am. I came here for a reason, to defend these people and curb ISIS's efforts to cause harm to my own nation back in my own country.
Do you get any sense of whether everyone is winning the war against ISIS, or is it just staying as it is, sort of as is, or are we losing the war against ISIS?
It's a slow grind, ma'am. We're going to win. It's going to take longer than I would like. If we put groups on the ground or increase our bombing campaign or our abilities to bomb the enemy, share intelligence with the other nations that are trying to do the same effort, then I think it would increase, or I should say decrease the amount of time that it would take to destroy ISIS. But if we're just going to leave it to random bombing here and there and training some troops in Iraq, then it's going to take a longer amount of time. Especially with their growth in Libya and Lebanon.
Are you seeing actual action there? Are you fighting actual fighting?
Yes, ma'am. I've been in Shangal for over a month. I'm only in the back of the rear for a week because another American was shot and wounded, my friend Matt. So he's going home to get better, and I'm returning to the front.
And you say that you've seen about 50 American former vets fighting over there against ISIS?
At least, ma'am, yes.
What does your family think about this, Jordan?
At first, they were very skeptical. Of course, their son's going over to fight in the Syrian civil war. They didn't know anything about a Kurdish militia or what their values were. But as they came to see what I was doing or why I was doing it, they came to support me.
Can you confirm there were reports the other day that 45 Kurdish people were burned to death? And I know there's been, I don't know if it's been confirmed or not. Do you know anything about that at all?
No, ma'am, I haven't heard anything about that.
All right, Jordan, thank you very much, and hope you stay safe, Jordan.
Thank you, ma'am. Go Packers.
Yeah, go Packers indeed. And this is disturbing. There are reports tonight that several American military spouses are receiving threatening messages online. Now, those messages appear to be coming from an account linked to ISIS. Angela Ricketts, the wife of an Army officer, got a frightening message on Facebook, and she joins us. Angela, nice to have you join us.
Thank you, Greta.
All right, Angela, tell me, what is going on?
What a great question. I wish I had an answer to that. You know, I wrote a book last summer called No Man's War, and I've done a lot of media and traveled across the country to promote it. So I've had some messages from trolls. And last Tuesday, I had a message pop up on my author account on Facebook, and I simultaneously got a friend request. So I quickly looked, and I saw that it was someone with, you know, ISIS-like garb on. And I read the message, and it was terrifying. It threatened my family, it threatened me, it threatened my husband. It said that they knew everything about us and where we were, and threatened us with Sharia law. So yes, I kind of wasn't sure if I was afraid or if it was a troll. So that was sort of where I was in the beginning.
Did you turn it over to the FBI?
You know what? I did not. I told my husband about it, and he was kind of like, "Meh, it's probably a troll." And, you know, just don't answer the door and just be careful today. So we weren't really sure, but one of the other women did turn it over to the FBI, and I actually talked to them the next day.
What does the FBI say?
You know, I'm really not privy to the investigation. I think they're looking.
Have you heard of other Army spouses getting similar type threats on social media, on Twitter and other social media?
Correct. I think that there were, the day that I got that message, there were 3 or 4 other military spouse bloggers who got similar messages. And the message that we got, the long threat was deleted within minutes of us receiving it, but I actually screenshotted it, so I was one of the few who actually was able to retain that message to turn over to the authorities.
Now, we've got it up on the screen, but just if you can shorthand it for the viewers, what's the threat?
What's the threat? They know where we are. They say that they're in our PC, they're in our computer, and that they're coming to get us, and that they're closer than we think.
And I mean, I take it you're unnerved by this, right? I mean, are you taking any extra precautions?
You know what? Military families are prepared to deal with violence that's directed towards our soldiers, but having it directed towards us is just it's complete new ground. So I think this is a great example of the complex issues that are facing our military today. This isn't the mountains of eastern Afghanistan and Paktika province. This isn't the desert of Iraq. This is here, and this is now, and this is a brand new, this is a brand new world, and how are we going to deal with it now that it's here and these threats are directed towards us?
Is the military helping you at all on this? Have you notified them?
Well, yes, my husband is an active duty officer, and he works here, and he spent the day, I want to say it was last Thursday, with the FBI and CID and the local police force, and he's actually, these kind of things speak to that chaotic lifestyle that infantry families are used to. So we really did quickly fall into that, get stuff done mode that we're used to. He set up a neighborhood watch and has, all kinds of systems in place, and we're very well taken care of. I'm not necessarily worried about that.
It really is a different world, isn't it? It used to be that family members sent their spouses off to war, and you never expected the war to particularly come home like this, or the potential of it.
Well, that's exactly right. And, very similar to American Sniper. No Man's War isn't against the war, and it isn't for the war. So that part of it, I can't quite figure out why I would be a target of ISIS, because I was actually very, in my book, I really examined the darker side and the cost of, nearly 2 decades of war. My husband has been deployed 8 times, 4 times to Iraq and Afghanistan for anywhere up to 15 months each. So, that really took a toll on us. And I wanted to write a book that explained that darker side and the grittier side of what we go through and how it's changed us forever. So, again, how that makes me a target of ISIS, I'm not exactly sure.
Angela, well, I appreciate your husband's service, but I also know that we appreciate your sacrifice and all our military families across the nation, because this has been really, really, really rough, and I don't know what the future is going to bring. But Angela, thank you.
Thank you. And could I say one more thing really quickly?
Sure.
I just don't want to see this become about these threats, and I want to make sure that the focus of America stays on taking care of our veterans and taking care of military families, because we need American support more than ever now. Now that the war is ending, there are just issues that we face and the struggles and a lot of important things going on. So aside from these threats, I really want us to keep our focus where it belongs.
Yeah, well said. Angela, thank you. And
thank you, Greta. I appreciate it.
Out with the old.